If you are my crush, I really hope that you don't watch this video. First order of business, if you're curious about my lip combination, I'm wearing Jeffree Star Cosmetics Red Rum in the matte velour liquid lipstick, and then I have topped it over with a gloss. The gloss, to be exact, and this gloss is in shade Improper. Guys, I have a confession. This confession is very near and dear to my heart, and it's something that I've never shared on the internet before. But today, for your viewing pleasure and your entertainment, I will be telling you a little story. As some of you have probably noticed, I've been on a little bit of a fitness journey as of late. However, that does not mean that I did not used to go to McDonald's quite frequently. In fact, I've been ridiculed and publicly shamed by McDonald's employees in the past, but that is content for a later date to be explained on this mic. Now, during this time of my life, more recently than I'd like to admit, I was going through the drive-thru at McDonald's to get quite a few cheeseburgers, approximately 16, but that's neither here nor there. Now, as I'm going through the drive-thru, because both of their drive up, where you park and get on the mobile app to get your points, spots, both of them were taken. So I said, well, I guess I'll go through the drive-thru. I go through the drive-thru, I pay with my credit card, and then I drive to the next window. There's a very handsome, very muscular, very fit young gentleman. Not my typical type. I would say he is more of the type of a athletic build, not a bodybuilder build, because you guys know that I love a bodybuilder. I love a hairy, bearded bodybuilder type. So if you know any, please send them my way, because I will make time. However, this gentleman was also blonde. I normally don't go for blondes, but he was very nice. He was very sweet. He was very built. And more importantly than anything else, he was kind. And that made me immediately fall in love with him. I did not think much about this afterward, except for, wow, my McDonald's daddy knows that I'm a fat. That's what I thought. I thought, wow, this man knows that I have a problem, and I'm going to have to see him again. So the next time I went to that McDonald's, which I would like to note here, and this will be important for the story later, it is a couple towns over from the town where I reside in my dwelling. Now, I knew that I would have to see this man again if I ever went to that McDonald's, so I decided to never go through the drive-thru again, hoping that Jeffree Star and all the gods would have favor on me and not let me see him again, because I wasn't strong enough. I wasn't strong enough to be botched in the drive-thru. I wasn't strong enough to be the person he needed me to be. Now, the next time I visited this McDonald's, I did in fact order at the drive-up stall. I parked in one of the two spots available, and I placed my order to get my free fries on Friday, plus a plethora of other sandwiches, because at the time, I was a big back. Not a Big Mac, not a Baymac, a big back. Who do you think came out and brought me my order? I'll give you 3 guesses. Yes, it was the blonde, handsome gentleman. And you know what? He told me that he liked my hat because I was wearing a pink hat, and that was very nice of him. This only made me fall for him more. In fact, it only gave me hope because he recognized me and was kind a second time. Now, this time, since I had parked in the stall, I had driven by the employee parking, and I noticed there was a very distinct car there. And I was like, this car is distinct because it had some customizations. I don't want to say what they are because it will be too obvious to my crush if he does see this. The uniqueness of this car is very noticeable. It's a color uniqueness. Now, whenever I started driving back to my town, I didn't think much of this car or of my boyfriend. I just drove home and I ate my sandwiches and my free fries. Now, the next couple days go by, and I'm driving in my town, and I see this car, and I recognize this car, and I don't quite recognize where I recognize this car from. But then I realize later that this car is the same car parked at a very nearby house to my apartment that I saw at McDonald's. Now, you might be thinking something about me that is untrue. I'm not a stalker. I'm not the kind of girl that will drive to a stranger's house and knock on the door. Unless I know somebody I love is in that house, or you're being wild and you try to block me, I will pull up. I will pull up. I'm not the girl that's going to be blocked and be like, no, I'm going to pull up, and I'm going to pull up with my baseball bat, okay? We're going to settle this. You think you can block me digitally? That's fine. I'm going to block you in real life. I'm going to block you in real life. That's the kind of girl I am. Now, if you're a stranger danger. I have no interest. But we have a lot in common. He and I, we've met twice. He's talked to me. He complimented my hat. When I saw this car, I drove by. I didn't. I was like, oh, there's my boyfriend. There is my beautiful boyfriend living probably in his home. Now, when I drove on this road a different day, I noticed the car was there again. Then I realized 2 times can't be just a friend visiting a friend. What's the likelihood of that? Where are the mathematicians? Are you in the comment section down below? Let me know, because I think that this is not a coincidence. In fact, I would argue that it's not, because the 3rd time that I drove by, a week later, the car was also there. I know where my boyfriend lives, and I got to see him the other day driving past my apartment. Some of you may know from my podcast episode that my car was recently stolen. Originally, when I found out where this man lived and when I had horked down all 75 of my cheeseburgers, I was driving my previous vehicle. I have not been to McDonald's in my new vehicle to see my boyfriend because I don't know if he'll like me now that I've lost some weight. So I'm really shy, I'm really sad, and I'm really embarrassed about my life. Yes, I know I should just confess my undying love for him, for his beautiful blue eyes and his blonde hair, but that's not all I love about him. I also love his arms, and I think he has a good heart, and I think he has lots of compliments to give. I hope that this man can find better employment and live his life to the fullest, because I think he can do a lot better than me. But if you see this and you are my McDonald's boyfriend, just know that I would love to relapse on fast food and enjoy your discount at your place of employment and maybe have a Big Mac with you. Actually, Big Macs aren't my favorite. I would much rather have 2 spicy McChickens, add cheese. And that might be controversial, but I don't care because they're good. And sometimes I'm convicted to stop eating meat, but at the moment, I'm going to say something really controversial. I am almost keto. I'm very low carb, borderline keto right now, which means I'm eating a lot of meat and protein. So I'm trying new things with my life. So if one of those new things would like to be my McDonald's boyfriend, please, by all means, slide into my DMs on my Jessie Vesper Instagram page. Thank you for watching this video. You're still watching? You must be obsessed. Let me know what you'd like to hear from me next in the comment section down below. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and turn on post notifications. Check out my podcast, the Wig Alopecia Podcast, starring none other than me, Jessie Vesper. And I will see you very soon.